it on your own. And if you let yourself, just know you'll never be alone. I hope that you get everything you want and that you chose. I hope that it's the realest thing that you ever know. Hope you get the pretty girls that's pretty at everything. $1 million cribs, have $1 million dreams. And when you get it all, just remember one thing. Remember one thing. That one man could change the world. That one man could change the world. All I wanted was $100 million in the bag. Shit, imagine this a muscle nice and felt like that I had it back on the mattress. Staring at the ceiling, trying to connect the dots, but it's I'm making those attachments. I'm talking dreaming so hard, so nice and felt like trap day. You know, my step brother used to flip the bags outside the crib like it was trash day. No Kim K, but he back that. But when you get it fast, money slows down, don't crash. With all the drive in the world, swear you still need gas. Look. Think about it, close your eyes, dream about it, tell your team about it, don't make $1 million schemes about it. Success is on the way, I feel it in the distance. You can look up at the stars and be like, get you must that's different. I be shining, get you push, I know you missed it. What you know about waking up every day like you want to miss it. And I hope you make it on your own. Anything like this, something will never be alone. I hope that you get everything you want and that you chose. I hope that there's a reason thing that you ever know. I hope you think the pretty girl is pretty and everything. $1 million dreams, that's $1 million dream. And when you get it all, just remember one thing. Remember one thing. One man can change the world. One man can change the world.
All right, Grand Rising family. We are in here this morning, and you know this is a very special panel. This morning this is going to be a male-led panel. I am just doing the honors with the music. Excuse me, let me coordinate a couple of more people that will be joining in. Grand Rising and salute, Brother Sir Senior, always on time and ready. Appreciate it, and put those X's up as well as the red, black, and the green. Thank you so much. So as soon as we are a go from, we're waiting for Brother William. He is finishing up a job. Brother is working hard this morning. We spoke just moments ago. He's working hard this morning. But as soon as he is ready, as well as Brother Bakari, we are aglow and we are going forward. So thank you all again for being a part today, and let's get it. I'm very much looking forward to it.
My grandma told me if you write your name in stone, you'll never get the White House. I grabbed it out that black hole and performed up at the White House, standing next to Jim Carrey. We traded stories to laugh. I said, you're not the only one I know that rich wearing masks. Where I'm from, I swear they from, they need way more than the cast. We need more than what you have, and then we need more than that. But how I'm supposed to say I'm tired? If that girl from West Virginia came up and convinced us that I couldn't survive, when the war came back alive, on top of that became a female black captain. With being black, you had the extra try. Wait before James Brown made us proud. She bought a crib on the same street as Marvin Gaye right there on out of drive. And she taught me how to drive. And she raised the kids, then the kids, and she did it right. Taught me how to love, taught me not to cry. When I die, I hope you teach me how to fly. All my life you've been the angel in disguise. And I hope you learn to make it on your own. If you love yourself, just know you'll never be alone. Hope that you get everything you want and that you chose. I hope that it's the richest thing that you ever know. Hope you get the pretty girls, it's pretty and everything. $1 million cribs, $1 million dreams. When you get it all, just remember one thing. Remember one thing. One man can change the world. One man can change the world. That's all I'm gonna let you go. Bye.
Yo, no cap. I almost had to bring that back because I kind of wanted to cry a little bit. No cap, no cap. So Sir Senior is in. We are just waiting for a couple of more, but let me go ahead and add you to the stream, Sir Senior. We're gonna let me one moment. How are you, Grand Rising brother?
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm it is well, the babes are back. My team is back, y'all. So I got all of my equipment. I have all of my equipment back. So it's all peace. Perfect. Okay, here we go. So we're doing it different this morning. Okay, great. Now everybody is pouring in. Perfect. Yeah, okay, Palmetto, please go ahead and click the stream. Remember, you all, this morning, even though this is we're the Glow Show, we're Glow Nation. I'm going to be just in the chat. This panel this morning, everyone, please know that link that is strictly for our males. So we want to have a male-led conversation today. And you definitely are welcome to glow in and let have on everything that you would like to discuss as far as what you want. Let me do this because I always feel so weird. Like, I don't even know if you guys really see. So we want to make sure that everyone in the room understands and knows that you're welcome, ladies. We're welcome to ask questions. Do not think that we're not welcome in today. But what we want to have happen today is this to be a male-led discussion. A male-led discussion with kind of a round table, if you will. Have you guys ever watched those old shows, right, where they showed men and they showed the men in these exclusive clubs, and then the women would have to dress up to go to get access? They did a couple of variations. I remember seeing one on the Jeffersons where they did this. I remember seeing, of course, I Love Lucy, and a couple of other shows. I think Roseanne might have done a variation of it. So, ladies, this is our opportunity to kind of get into the minds of men and be able to hear and appreciate the information. We can ask questions, but no ladies will be allowed to join this panel. Even myself, I'm going in the chat. This is going to be totally a male-led panel, and I'm so excited to see everyone in this morning. Ready for it. Good morning, Deacon Anthony. Let me just say my hellos, you all, and I'm jumping into the panel. Salute, Brother Bakari. Salute, Black Youth Congress, Brother William. I said I know you're working hard this morning, so thank you for joining in. Hello, Snuggles. How are you, Snuggles? I am getting your videos, your shares. And I thank you for them. It's just that, like I said, y'all, the crew is back. The crew just touched down from Miami yesterday, so it was very much a packed day. Hey, sis, Grand Rising, Bijou. I love that name, by the way. That should be like we got to talk. That's got to be like an album name. Okay, so I'm about to join everyone else in the chat. Brother Bakari, I'm sorry. Brother Bakari, yes. I want everyone to introduce themselves. Brother William, I believe, was the first MX Media Group in. So it would go in order like this. It would go Brother William, Brother Bakari, and Sir Senior, introduce yourself, and then go. Okay, so we have our first question up. All right, let me jump in the panel, and I will definitely make sure you all see the questions, and I will highlight quotes or highlight some captions, but this is it for me. I'm coming off the panel, okay? Thank you all, gentlemen. Thank you all again for coming on, and glow in and let have. Absolutely. All right, here we go. All right, so this panel is filling up, so great. Okay, let me come on off.
All right. Okay, I guess I'm first to introduce myself. Is that correct? This is Brother William, Black Youth Congress. Um, if that's correct, I'd like to say I'm residing here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're forming a youth program, a Black Youth Congress program. The program is mostly, when you think about the Black Youth Congress program, it is mostly focusing on the elders actually getting themselves together, being more so representation instead of gathering the youth. That point comes later, but my emphasis is more so that we show the young how to behave, how to talk, how to treat one another. When they see it, it's kind of like the same with parents. When they see it, they model after it. So the Black Youth Congress, don't think of the youth, we gathering youth at the moment, not initially. We gathering one another so we can learn to be the Congress or behave in a way to represent our youth, to imitate, to emulate us. And that's the point of the Black Youth Congress. That's the initial point that I make, that we must show them how to behave. So we got conference call discussions. We're showing them how to have this group discussion, and we got other things going. But I just want to say that check in with me and on this. Those who are interested in the idea itself, I'll tell you more about it. You can catch me on my email, Black Youth Congress, blackunity07@gmail.com. But not to go too far in that, I just want to introduce myself as a uh, learning organizer and a learning communicator. So as I'm learning, of course, we all have to learn. But I'd like to thank you again, Sister Courtney, for inviting me on, because these are the things that we need to do so that we can actually communicate the problem, so we can communicate as well the solution. Thank you. Where's my mic?
Okay, I'll go next. This is Brother Bakari. Sister Courtney, thank you for inviting me to this panel. Peace to everybody in the chat. I thank y'all for joining and listening. My channel is Brother Bakari. So that's my introduction. So we go around and let everybody introduce. So let me ask a question. Is it going to be a time limit on how long everybody get to speak? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. It should
We can hear
be.
you.
It should be. It should be. And they should be in order as well.
It's like 4 people on the panel. Shouldn't be getting no more than like 3 minutes to answer a question. Or 2 minutes. Okay. Courtney
I
said
second 2 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes. I second that. I agree.
She said that the limit's 2 minutes.
yeah, but all right, but I yield the mic.
My name's Palmetto Star, Prophet Rovet. I am the host of Two Raw for TV and also the author of 3 Steps to End Racism Right Now, which is coming out on January 20th for free to save the world. So I've been hosting Two Raw for TV since November 4th, 2010. We've been mentioned on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. And I'm just out here doing the work in the community. So I do a myriad of things, a lot of different things. So just happy to be here on this panel with you brothers, and thank you, Courtney, for giving me this opportunity.
All right, salute everybody. I'm Sir Singer. I'm a co-host on Mark Nash, and I have a channel as well. I guess my principles is that giving back is not a money amount. It's the energy and the focus. If you're giving back, to get fame, then it's not really giving back. You help where you can. A lot of hands make light work. I appreciate everybody for coming in today, everybody on the panel, and for Sister Courtney allowing us to have this panel today to enlighten and uplift each other.
Facts. So do we go right into the
So we're
questions
gonna go
or?
into the question. Is it so, Brother Dukes? You introduce yourself first. Are you going first? How's it going to work? Because everybody just waiting.
I already introduced myself, so we
I
can
know.
go into the,
We're gonna get into
yeah.
the question. So I'm like, what order is it gonna go in with the question and who speak? Okay, this how. Okay, you know
Yeah, I
what?
think that would be best
I
because
do it
we
the
were
same
doing
way
that same
people.
circle.
The same way people introduce themselves. Uh, that's how they answer the question. So, Brother Duke, it will be on you. And when you start, you'll have 2 minutes. And I just let everybody know when the 2 minutes up.
Okay, I'm unable to see the question. Can you read it
The
off to me,
question
please?
is, do the men of the panel think single mothers make black boys more feminine?
Okay, that's a really, really powerful question.
Mm-hmm.
um, I would say yes. And my position on the yes is not to take away credit for what our mothers are doing. They're doing a great job. But nature demands that a boy has to have a man vibe, a man, ways. He got to have a man in his presence. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so this is my position. My position is yes. My answer is yes, but it's like a slow yes because the mothers are doing a great job. But at the same time, that is one of our dysfunction is not to have a complete a both male and female in our homes, especially for the boys to have a man and force the girl to have a woman. But yeah, not to say too much too long, but I think yes is the answer without taking away the credit and the hard work that mothers be doing. At the same time, one of my greatest mottos, one of my greatest saying is that if a boy don't see a man, he won't be a man. So the sight of a man is what the boy would imitate or emulate. And I think that is how the best teacher is demonstration. This is how we should be as fathers and brothers or teachers or preachers or leaders. We should demonstrate more so than do a whole lot of talking and singing and that kind of thing. But okay, so yeah, so yes is my answer, and then I rest my mic on that. Thank you.
Okay. For me, I would say that answer is yes and no. It's yes. When you look at the historical everything that has happened to us in this country through history, the woman has always the woman was taught to be put in front to protect the man. You can go back during slavery, and after that the white man was told the woman would do whatever to protect the man. So the answer to that question is yes and no. Yes, they're doing it because they think they're protecting their son, and the no is where's the man. So I can't just say it's the woman that's effeminizing the young black boy because the young black male is supposed to have a man in his life. So where's the father? So for me, that question is an excellent question, and I say yes and no is the answer to that. And the way I just explained it, I could have went in more, but we don't need to go in anymore right there. But like I said, yes and no. Yes, because the mother feels she's doing whatever to protect her child, and no, because the father should have been there. So we both have to protect the young black male, the young black man from society. And if both is not there, where the child had a masculine and feminine energy, and only have feminine energy, and constantly seeing on TV what dressing like a woman is cool, so it's yes and no. And I yield the mic. It's on you, sir, senior.
Um, to
Can
the
you,
question.
okay, I'm back on. I'm
All
back
right, so the
on.
brother's back. The brother
Yeah, I'm
back.
having some technical difficulties here. My bad. The answer to the question, in my opinion, in my personal experience, I would say yes, just because I have seen it just firsthand that the man without the you know, the boy without a man's presence, it can get a little feminine. You know what I'm saying? I have seen that personally. Also, you know, I have seen, you know, it depends on the sort of man that's around, because you could have a feminine man, and you know, that's really into their emotions, and you know, doing all sorts of things like to argue with women and all that stuff like that, and that could affect the child as well. So you know, in my personal experience, I would have to say it can, yeah, definitely.
Okay, sir, senior, it's on you.
I would say that they do, because I look at the situation and it doesn't always manifest itself in the same way. We usually think, okay, well, because a black boy is feminine, that, oh well, he's going to swish his hips or some type of physical feminine trait. And it doesn't always have to come across that way. It could be emotionally or mentally, like how they choose to think. They could think more on a feminine way. They could feel on a
Hmm.
feminine way. And when you reason like a woman, it takes away from your masculinity. So I would say that they do, but it also can be offset by her choosing to make sure that that child is connected with a black man, even
Hmm.
if it's his father or not.
Hmm.
Okay, that was it. You had a little more time.
No, I'll rest my time.
Okay, so we going to the next question then. Uh, so then, why is it acceptable for men to see their sons only on the weekends? By Jania Perry, Brother Dukes.
Um, uh, Being acceptable to me is it has relevance to the system. The system is pretty much uh, uh, attacking us. We under attack, whether
Hmm.
we believe it or not. So our manhood is under attack. Um, so you're dealing with the system. You're not just dealing with yourself. But that's a good question. But as far as the system is concerned, it affects us tremendously. And that's one of the reasons. The second reason, of course, because we have to actually be accountable for ourselves. Uh, there's no unity in our community. And a lot of times we don't relate unity to being a better, man, or, being better at things. But we don't realize that unity is so healthy to the point when you don't have it, um, you really think, you're healthy. So I don't, I think that's another thing, that the lack of unity um, in manhood. So if you got one man in a community, or one man who has characteristic of a male like he's supposed to, and very few of them going on, he's surrounded by a bunch of feminine or um, half of men. That's gonna make him be alone. I mean, like, whoa, what kind of world is this? So I'm saying that the unity in that thing, that manhood, unity in men, is a very powerful dynamic to me. And I think that's a part of the problem too. So if you put those two together, the enemy, how he has divided and conquered us, when he first went to the man, that's the first person he went to, was the man. That is the one.
Hmm.
The other one, again, is the lack of unity. So I guess I'll rest my mic on that. Thank you.
Okay, so the question, well, for me, Janiyah Perry, I don't know if I said Jania, now Janiyah, I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's not acceptable. And I don't blame the system, because we got to stand up and accept responsibility. Uh,
Hmm.
The system can't tell me I only see my child on the weekend. I stand up, I accept responsibility. My oldest son is 29 now. Did I go through BS when he was staying with his mother before he ever came and stayed with me? Yes, but you know what I did? I went through that BS and I made sure I got my son because it didn't make a difference what she did or how hard she tried to make it. When nothing, no system, no her, nobody gonna stop me from seeing my son and taking care of my son and being there for my son. I think the biggest problem is we don't accept responsibility. We have a lot of our men have built-in excuses. They're going to either blame the system or they're going to blame the woman without ever looking in the mirror, without ever looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? What am I going to do? Don't worry about what anyone else is going to do. What am I going to do? Accept that responsibility as a man, and you will be there for your son. And that way, we won't be complaining about single mothers effeminizing our son because
Mm-hmm.
she can be a single mother, but that don't mean the father does not have to be there all the time. Try to build a good rapport with the mother, and things can change. Instead of complaining, it's going to be problems, but you have to build a good rapport with the mother. When we talking about the child, for me, that's where some type of unity and agreement was going to have to come in. It's going to have to come in with the mother and the father of that child, so you can take care of the child. Nobody else. I get it, Mike.
Okay. Well, let me say this. I see, I like, okay, I'm bringing to a personal experience because I see my child every day, whether it be on a chat or, whether it be, I'm physically there and see them. Now, I primarily get them, and like I have my daughter right now, I primarily get my daughter on the weekends, just because my schedule is like that and all that stuff like that. Um, but I didn't intend for that to happen. I wanted to be there in my child's life every single day. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm working to be in my child's life more as far as physically seeing them. I mean, physically being there because it does bother me that I just see her. I mean, I just like have her on the weekends primarily. You know what I'm saying? But I do take care of her financially, spiritually, mentally. I mean, I'm there. I'm there. I'm there with her. I talk to her every day and see her every day. Um, but then you had to. It is a fight because we have this throwaway culture where you got to think like, okay, why are there so many single women? Like they just feel like this they that the government gives them an incentive to be single mothers. You know what I'm saying? They give them incentive to have all these children by different fathers and just throw away the father of their children, and that is wrong. And that's to me that's our we had to that is that's the thing that we must fight the most is that sort of that thing that gives people incentives to they give them incentive to throw away the family. You know what I'm saying? Because if that wasn't the case, if the I know in my case, I feel like if the government played a big role in giving the mother just an incentive to have just this throwaway culture where they feel like they could just be like, oh, I have this false sense of independence. You know what I'm saying? And be like, well, I could do it without you. I got this government house. They're giving me assistance, without, and they're giving me more assistance without you. Why do I need you here? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I could and it really plays into this I hate to say it like this thought culture. You know what I'm saying? And what it is. But our fight is not with the women. The fight is with the people that give them the incentive to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I had to say about that. I mean, I think that it's not acceptable. But I feel like, you know, we had as black men, it seems like we had to fight for our families 1,000 times more harder than everybody else.
Sir Senior, it's on you.
Yes, sir. I pretty much just concur the things that you other brothers have said. Um, it breaks down into sometimes it comes into a money situation where if the man is not in the home, then he's the weekend dad. Um, so when money and power and control plays hand in hand with that, it kind of destroys the black family. And just because you and the mom didn't work out together doesn't mean that you can't co-parent. Because if you're
Hmm.
truly, adults and not just grown-ups, you should be doing what's in the best interest of the child and what's in the best interest of the family as a whole. And I yield my time.
Hmm.
Okay, before we move on to the next question, everybody's gonna get an extra 60 seconds on this. So, Brother Dukes, we're gonna come back to you. Everybody, if you have anything else you want to say about the question that was just asked.
Yeah, yes, sir. I want to kind of piggyback, well, kind of respectfully challenge something you said about not blaming the system. We have to find a word that's not a blame word, because I don't blame my enemy for enslaving me, but we have to find a word that says, after you devastated me and enslaved me, Jim Crow me to death, destroyed my family, the fathers, the leaders, kill leaders today, even today, and did all of this mess. You have to find a word that best fit that you should be charged for that. And that affected me. So blame may not be the best word, because I don't turn around and say I can't do anything. No, I want to build my nation. But you are responsible for a lot of this damage, and you are not my friend. You're my enemy. So
Hmm.
I'm saying we have to find a word to best fit a person like myself that's 100% independent of European thoughts, European nation, government, history, heroes. We don't need none of this stuff. 100%, 1,000%.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
you got to find a word that says,
You got
look,
10 seconds, brother.
okay, I got to find a word that says you have done us wrong. You destroyed us, and you're responsible. I rest my mind.
Okay, look, I'm not saying they're not responsible for anything, but I know complaining. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say complaining because that's how I see it. So I ain't gonna say the words that I say. I'm not gonna put that on anyone else. But like I said, look in the mirror and what are we gonna do? That's my biggest thing. For me, that's my biggest issue. What are we gonna do? I looked in the mirror. I didn't care if they wanted to put me on, if she wanted to put me on child support, whatever the hell she wanted to do. I didn't care nothing about what the government said. Didn't care nothing about that because it's not the government's responsibility, it's my responsibility. I've never been on no system. I wouldn't ask the government. I never went to no government about nothing. I never did nothing. Any agreement we had, I personally, me and her sat down and drew up our contract. So
Hmm.
we are looking for the people that created this the problem, and we think they're going to give us the solution. When we're talking about solutions, and this just me, how I get down and how I feel. When we are talking about our solutions, we got to be able to have a conversation and discuss what we're going to do and leave them out of it. Because it's about what are we going to do. And it was
Hmm.
about why have we made it acceptable to see our kids on the weekend. Forget what the judge said. Forget what anybody else said is the point that I'm making. What are we all going to do as black men? If you know this system is against you, there ain't even no need to constantly mention them. What are we as black men going to do for our children? And just not my blood son, but our children in our community. What are we going to do? And for
Hmm.
me, I talked about my son then. I mentor programs. Why I mentor kids. And there was a question in the chat about that, and I know Courtney will get to it later. So I yield the mic. It's on you. I can't ever remember your name, my brother, with the dreads, but it's on you.
Palmetto. But my thing is this is it's good that you know, well, it is on us. It is absolutely 100% on us as Black men. And what we are doing, you know what I'm saying? However, you can't ignore the incentives for us to be out of the house. And you know what I'm saying? Even, you know, like the mother of my child, she's quote unquote conscious, but you know, they give them incentives to take the men out the house. And I'm fortunate enough that we could co-parent and do all of this stuff like that. And you know, and I see my child every single day. She's with me right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm there financially on every single level, every level, you know, for my child. But and it does make me determined. It makes me more determined to do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Because but it gives them it gives them this false sense of like, oh well, I can do this without you, and so you don't need to be here. And then they could just have children with all sorts of other men, and to me that's not, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. I'm actively working and doing stuff about it. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of things going on. But you know, I can't ignore that. That's, you know, that's something that's put out there, and they give incentives to the women to our women to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. All right, Sir Senior, it's on you.
Again, I'll pretty much concur with parts of what each one of you has said, and I look at it that we have to put forth a constant, consistent effort to make that change, and not just in our lives, but in other people's lives. Sometimes your life, you can't fix everything right away, but you can help somebody else. You can give them advice. You can support them in fixing their thing while you're still fixing yours. You don't just give advice and don't take it for yourself. You don't just take the advice for yourself and fix you and leave everybody else behind. You got to balance both of those, because that's how you help household to household, and that's how you help the whole community. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
not willing to help, you can't expect to get help. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not just for you and helping you, it's helping that son and that daughter who are now going to grow up and become that father, become that mother. And you're teaching
Mm-hmm.
them what to do or what not to do by your actions. If they see that
Mm-hmm.
you don't care about family, they're not going to really care about family. If they see you not wanting to stand up and help, you know, your fellow neighbor or brother or sister, they're not going to want to do it. And if they go on the other side and say, well, I'm going to rebel against what my dad or my mom did, then they're going to lose respect for you. So then that's
Mm-hmm.
going to tear down their household as well, because children need their parents. Those parents still need their parents even when they get older. I yell the mic.
Okay. So the next question is, what method of guidance for Black boys do you think are most beneficial for their success? Would you like me to read that again, Brother Dukes, to make sure you understand the question?
Yeah.
What methods of guidance for Black boys do you think are the most beneficial for their success?
Okay, that's a really good question, and that question touched on uh, the whole idea of strategizing as a community, unity among men, real men, unity among real men coming together, doing something and helping them and assisting them in so many way, in some way or another, is a strategy, is a method that we can use That's going to be very effective. They got to see the unity among us. If they don't see no unity, they just like us. If I'm a man and I'm a straight man and I don't compromise, and I live in a community where there is none, there's no straight men. The little boys are suffering more than me because I'm adult. I know this is mess. You know what I mean? So the strategy of unity among men is the method that we should get together on. Same thing that Brother Bakari organization and movement is about, and my movement. Uh, bring ourselves together, and then bring them in. I rest my mic.
Okay, the best method for me, what method of guidance? I just saying, repeating the question for myself. What methods of guidance for Black boys do you think are the most beneficial for their success? Me, when I was part of my mentorship, what I did was I found out what they were interested in. And once you find out their interests, then you can talk to them about their interests. I knew this one kid, and he was in there talking. It was other kids, they had straight A's, they want to be doctors and lawyers. And the other young man, he wasn't feeling like he could be as successful as them because he was a C student and he couldn't be a doctor or lawyer. But at the age of 13, 14, he knew how they work. He could almost break down the engine and put it back together. So that was his interest. So what I did was I spoke to him about what he was interested in and let him know that just because someone is a doctor or a lawyer, that doesn't mean they're smarter than you. That means they are smarter than you in their field. I say, go to a mechanic and ask them how many doctors and lawyers bring their car to them to get fixed. So once you get in your field, in your interest, what you're enjoying doing and what you're good at, that doctor and lawyer is not nearly as smart as you when it comes to working on a car engine. So we have to find their interest. And once you find that interest, speak to them about that interest and spend time with them. We have to, while you're doing that interest, let's figure out something. Let's take them fishing. Have a barbecue. And we need to come together as a people. We need to see that unity, and that's part of their success. That's part of their success, seeing how great a man can treat a woman. That's also part of their success. But you have to guide them and show them and touch on their interests. I yield the mic to Palmetto. I just had to say your name, make sure I remember. Palmetto.
Okay.
It's on you.
Well, the method I would use to guide young Black or anybody, but especially our Black youth, is Black supremacy and Black people getting into their supreme self. Our true culture is our striving to be great and striving for greatness every day. Finding what you're talented in, knowing yourself, finding your talents, and then striving to be the greatest at it every single day without compromise. To me that's would be my guiding method with young Black boys. So that's my tool that I use for in my life and with my daughter and all children. I look at all children as my child. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start unity to be unified. Look at all Black children as my children. You know what I'm saying? So, any child that's around me, you know what I'm saying, that I'm in the vicinity of, or I'm dealing with their mother, that's my child as well. And I treat them as such. You know what I'm saying? I don't, just because I'm dealing with your mom and, that you may not be from my bloodline exactly, that does not make you less of my child. I take all Black children as my children. You know what I'm saying? So unity starts with us. Unity starts with us, and our willingness to unify. We can't look and say we want this and we want that. We have to start with ourselves and bring it forth in fruition with ourselves.
All right, good points. It's on you, my good brother, sir, senior.
Um, like always, we pretty much hitting all the points. It breaks down into working as a team. No matter how strong one finger is, the whole hand always can do more. And if we bond together, we teach the next generation to bond together. Because they see what we did and they watch what we did. They learn from seeing. We can't tell them, well, do what I say and not as I do. We can tell them, do as I say and as I'm doing now and not as I did. So we can show them that change. But if we're still doing those wrong things, we can't be telling them to do something different because they're naturally going to do what they see us doing. If they hold us in high regard, they want to do what they see us doing. They want to dress like us. They want to talk like us. They want to walk like us because they want to be or emulate or become what we are. So if we want them to be great, we have to strive for greatness and inspire greatness in our brothers and sisters. That's the only way we can teach them to be great is for striving for that greatness.
Absolutely.
So, like, I use the example of Bruce Lee a lot. His dad was a martial artist and a dancer. So he became a martial artist and a dancer. And his son became a martial artist and a dancer because they saw that greatness and they tied it together. And that's the same thing for all of us. The same thing Martin Luther King was, you know, oratorical and a pastor. Martin Luther King Jr. did the same thing, and so on and so forth. So, what we choose to be, and if we strive for greatness or we strive for less than greatness, we're going to instill those type of ideals in our children. So, the best way to teach them is to teach ourselves and model that for them.
Okay. Thank you for that, sir, senior. So we're going to get to the next question, and here's the next question. Each one of the men on the panel, what would the mother of any of your children say about your role as the father and what you have contributed to the family? I'm going to read it one more time, Brother Dukes, to make sure you get it because you say you can't see it. Each one of the men on the panel, what would the mother of any of your children say about your role as the father and what you have contributed to the family?
Can I say something before anybody says anything? Because there was another question prior to that, and I saw there was another question that had to do with the nuclear family. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they could, if anybody could put it back on there, but I definitely would like to address that question as well. Because there was a question prior to that that was really good that had to do with the nuclear family.
I need to fix something.
Yeah, I saw, but okay, so Courtney, put that one up next after this one, if you can find that one, because I can't go through and find it. If you can. Brother Dukes fell off, so I'm going to answer that. Oh, she said that wasn't a question; it was a comment, Palmetto.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go first. Brother Dukes fell off. Brother Dukes is back. So you ready, Brother Dukes?
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing, man. My phone was acting up.
Okay, so I'm going to read the question to you again.
Okay.
Each of the men on the panel, what would the mother of any of your children say about your role as the father and what you have contributed to the family?
Say it again. The first part. I didn't hear the first part.
Each one of the men on the panel, what would the mother of any of your children say about your role as the father and what you have contributed to the family?
Oh, okay. Okay. That's an interesting question because anybody can say anything they want to say. I can say my mom, my wife, because my wife says I was the best husband in the world. I could be lying. But I just want to say that I'm confident that I'm a good father and I'm a good teacher. I'm confident in myself, but I don't have. There's nothing I have to share that she said. I mean, she said good things, but to me, that's not a
Yeah.
good platform for me. I can't answer that one. I rest my mic.
You know what? My oldest son is 29. He moved with me at age of 5 when I got custody. You know what his mother would say? His mother would say, I was a damn good father. I ain't never missed nothing. Even when it got to a point when I was in the military and he went back to his mother for a little bit, he came back with me and she'll tell you he was always there, ain't never missed nothing, and made sure he was taken care of and raised him from a young to the best of my abilities. He moved with me when I was 24 years old. My 2 kids now, their mother passed away. That was my wife. And if she was living, she would say I'm a great father because she'll still be in the household with me. But she passed away when my youngest son Jake is 17. He's 17 now. She passed away one day before his 3rd birthday. My youngest daughter, who's 16, she was a year and a half when she passed away. My oldest daughter, who was not my biological daughter, she was 12. My son was 15. But she was 13, remember? She turned 13 right in the same month. So everyone would say that I'm a great father. See, I pat myself on the back because I know I'm going to do my damn best all the time. And I know what the mothers would say. He a damn good father. He going to always be there. Everything is going to be taken care of. I yield the mic.
Well, I could say this. I could say I know I do everything. I do everything to the best of my capacity, and I do everything. I take care of my child. I even take care of the other children that the mother of my child has that I'm not even that I don't even you know what I'm saying I haven't that are not my children, you know, not my physical children, but like I said, every black child is my child. But to say, you know, what they would say, you know, these a lot of times these women are lying, you know, and they got it, and especially when you deal with the government thing, they have an incentive to lie. And you know, like I could say you can't say anything bad about me because I'm there all the time. I give my child everything she needs and more, and she has a whole support system that I have provided. Even the support system that her mother has is provided by me. But I have heard things that she said that like, oh, you used my child, you used her as, I mean, just lies. I'm like, what? I know. I was like, I know for a fact I'm a good father. But I mean, but you know what I'm saying? These women, that's what I'm saying. The women are incentivized to lie. And sometimes if they're the ones that were in the wrong, you know what I'm saying? They will make up lies in their own mind to make it seem like they're right. You know what I'm saying? Or make you seem bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about what anybody has to say about. I don't care what anybody has to say about me. I'm gonna do the best I could do. I don't care what anybody has to say. You know, people have different opinions about me and different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? But I know who I am, and I know I do the best I could do, and I am a great father and all of that. But you know, as far as what these women say about people, and I mean, they lie and they have incentives to lie. You know what I'm saying? And it's so to me that's not what they would say, and they may say something to you in your face, and then behind your back be telling people all these lies about you. You know what I'm saying? Because to make them feel like they the ones in the right and they doing something, but you know what I'm saying, they may not even be good mothers, but they selling lies to make you seem like you're a bad father. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, so to me it's like you know, that to me them what their opinion is.
Yeah, how's everybody doing today?
Hold on. You got 10 seconds, brother Palmetto.
Okay, I say what their opinion doesn't matter. It is what you got. You got to do whatever you got to do. and you got to be 100 and know that you are doing everything that you could do and beyond. So I don't care what. I mean, I love, you know, I got love for the mother of my child, but I don't care what she has to say. I'm going to be there for my child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sitting here worried about what she has to say, because these people gonna be lying, man. Straight up.
All right.
Yeah. How's everybody doing today? It's your boy Louis Safier.
Okay. Everybody's good. So Lou site, however, site
Safier.
Lou Safier just came on. We're gonna you go after is Sir Senior. You go after him. He have 2 minutes to answer that question. Then you get 2 minutes to answer the question. And everybody, please mute their mic while the other person is speaking. That way there will be no interference. It's on you, brother Sir Senior.
Salute to the brother who just came on. I kind of agree again partially with each person. It all depends on like for example, my kid's mom. It depends on who you're asking her in front of. Are you asking her by herself? Are you asking her in front of her husband? Are you asking her, in front of, court officials? The answer changes slightly or dramatically depending on who she's in front of. So, but overall, she will say that I'm a good father, I'm just straight. But how she articulates that depends on who she's in front of. And I yield the rest of my time.
All right, thanks for that, sir. Senior brother Lou Safier, it's on you, my man, and welcome to the panel.
Thank you. Welcome. I feel welcome, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. Is that someone's mic in the background? All right, good to go. All right. So, what was the question? How women see
the question was to all the men on the panel: what would the mother of your child say about you and what you have contributed to the family?
Okay. All right. I'm a spoiler. All right. Because my thing is, I love my kids. I look at as they're my anchors to this world. Like me and the mother of my children didn't get along that much. She's very strict, and I'm very kind of loving, and I got a lot of I got a lot of nurturing energy in me, and I like to tell them how it is. My son and my daughter. What I will say to black men is that it's the responsibility of the black man to imprint on his kids. Your son has to have your walk. Your son has to have your sense of humor. Your son has to have your cunning, and you can't leave him in this world to fight by himself alone, because the things that you put into him is the things that's going to hold him together when situations get thick. Now, what I will say is that I think we need to understand that we might need to formulate a game plan between men about how to deal with the mother of our children, and because it's a war out there. We can't lose heart. I'm an active parent. I taught my son how to ride a bike. I taught my son how to read. I put him in that headlock and put my finger on them words, so no one could take that away from me. The finances are going to be the finances, but I do what I got to do. Ultimately, I think what we as black men need to see ourselves as is important to the lives of our children, no matter if we get along with our kids or not. We're always going to be an influence. I mean, we might be taken advantage of. We might be overlooked and ignored. We might be taken for granted, but I know my son is happy that I'm in his life. I always tell him every day that I'm always going to be there for him. And no matter what nonsense happens over there, he knows there'll always be a place with me. That's pretty much,
brother.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Just hold it down. It's 18 rounds. Keep your footwork moving. Keep punching against them beasts because the white man and the white power structure is a 800-pound gorilla, and it fights with box cutters, and it fights dirty, but you still got to keep fighting because it's going to give your child the strength and the inspiration to fight for himself the same way. Y'all feel me?
Okay. All right. Thank you. So this is what Palmetto wanted to touch on. So Sister Courtney put it back up. So everybody gonna touch on it because it is something. Okay, so we're gonna go to the question. We're not gonna touch on the comments, Sister Courtney. Everybody mute their mic. I'm trying to wait to Courtney put that response in the chat because I don't know if I want to talk, if we're gonna go to the comment or to the. Okay, you know what? Lead the question up. Do you remember what the comment was about the nuclear family? Palmetto?
Yeah, it said, do you the nuclear family is needed in today's black. It said something along those lines. That said that the nuclear family is needed.
Family,
and,
something to that effect. So until it put it back up, we can't remember it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna read the next question.
I want to say one thing about that last question, just to add on. Okay.
You got 60 seconds.
I just say that you can't control what anybody says. You can't. What's that? I said you can't control what anybody says. I just wanted to put that on there because, you know, there's a lot of great fathers out there and a lot of people that are doing the thing. And I've seen, even in my personal experience, I've seen that, you know, that the mother will say one thing, but the reality as a whole is a completely different thing. So you can't control what anybody says. I think that, you know, you can only do the best you could do. All that saying what people will say about you, you can't. I mean, I'm not even worried about that. I don't care what anybody got to say about me.
You know what? Facts. What you just said. You're right. There's some great fathers and people will lie. You know what? Even I went through that. Even raising a child, I went through that, but I ain't never worried about it. I know I'm a great father, but I know as both parties matured, I know what she said changed. So you are correct about that. Don't worry about it too much. But that was a good question. So now we're gonna move on to the next. Huh?
I'm sorry, that just personally hit me because I was like, these women, like that's just my experience. These women be lying, man. These women be lying. They'll say and they'll make you seem like you something, and it's like it's not even like that. It's like, wow, really? She said that about me? Oh, what? Really? Okay. And and you know, it's a complete straight lie. You know what I'm saying?
What's really going on is that you become the dog that she kicks every time she doesn't get what she wants. Like if she wanted to get a Louis bag or something like that, she needs someone to blame. She ain't gonna blame the state. She ain't gonna blame the kids. So she's gonna blame you. Oh, your daddy didn't do this. Your daddy didn't do that. Truth be told, she got her hair and nails done so she could go out on dates and stuff while you working for whatever you're working, and she wants you to finance the luxury end of her lifestyle. And the more you come up short, the more of a dog and a piece of shit you are. But
you're not doing something for your family. Come on, man.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next question. If y'all want to, we can come back to that one because the next question is up. We're gonna go ahead and read the question because or leave the question up, and I'll give anybody who want to have 60 seconds, 60 more seconds to say about the question that was just up. If you have something else you want to say, 60 seconds, and then you can go 60 seconds, and then we go to the next question. If you want to go on what the mother would say, are you all ready to move to the next question?
Yeah, I need 60 seconds.
Okay, 60 seconds.
Are we going to address the nuclear family?
I think.
Well, we're going to address it after the next question.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to say that it was a fair question that the person put out there, but the better question is what our children are saying about us. That's what I think. That would have been a better question. Also, I think in the unity system that that's against us, we need to form unity. That's what I think. We need to form a unity. You can't fight a system you can't beat a system without becoming one. I rest my mic.
Okay, so now the next question is if the mother and father are not together, how do you propose the financial aspects of raising children by raising children be handled by parents? I'm going to read that question again. If the mother and father are not together, how do you propose the financial aspects of raising children be handled by the parents? Are you ready, Brother Dukes, or do I need to read it again?
Yeah, yeah. Read it
Okay, if the
again.
mother and the father is not together, how do you propose the finances for the child is taken care of?
That's a really, 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 really good question right
Everybody,
there.
I
That's a
got the
good
other
one.
person speak, please. Every-
Okay.
it's on-
Uh, yeah, that's a really excellent question. And coming from the standpoint of dysfunctional families, it's really hard to answer that because we don't want to promote the female, the mother, being in cahoots with the system to destroy to destroy our men, our fathers. But we also don't want our fathers to be deadbeat either. So it's really a hard question to answer because we're talking about the standpoint of being dysfunctional. So from that standpoint, there has to be a question coming from a professional counselor, or we have to think that thing out. I rest my mic.
how do you propose you handle that together? You create you and the mother of the child, the father and the mother sit down and talk, and you can do your own contract. You don't need nobody else need to be involved. You know what you make. You know what you can afford to give, and on top of that, sometime for your child, and this me speaking from my personal experiences. Sometimes it may be okay to short yourself to make sure your child have what your child needs. And for me, I've heard people say, "Well, I don't want to do that because the woman gonna spend the money on herself, or she gonna go out with another man." I was never concerned about what the woman did. I'm gonna be all honest. When my son was not staying with me before I got full custody, my whole goal was when I went to see my son, he was taken care of, he had clothes, he had food in the refrigerator, roof over his head, lights, water, everything on all the necessities was taken care of. Whatever she did, I didn't care. My goal was to make sure my son was taken care of. That was it. And that should be the focus. And if we keep that focus, you can create a contract with that woman on your finances because you know what you make. So you create something because once you give them a certain amount, trust me, I went through this too before my oldest son moved with me. They may attempt out of anger because someone has moved on or whatever and want to do child support. I told her, go ahead and go to court. Yeah. Went to child support court and realized, okay, he actually given me more than child support court is going to give me. So as they call it, and say, you know what? I don't want to put you on child support. I know you don't because you're gonna lose out. Because I don't need the system in my business. We create our own system, and for me, that's how it would work. You deal with that child, mother, and y'all work that out. And I yield the mic. It's on you, sir, senior.
Well, I was kind of alluding to that earlier in one of my earlier statements that you should work as a team. And if the father has the children or the mother has the children or you split the custody, it still doesn't matter. What matters is that the kids are taken care of. And if they need a pair of shoes, you know, get the pair of shoes for the children. They need a pair of socks. Get the socks for the children. They need clothes or school supplies, or they're starting, on a sports team, or they want to start doing art. Whatever it is, provide for them that they have the stuff that they need, and find ways that you can offset. Go. They turn it all into a money thing. Money does not help a child. It takes money to provide for a child, but money does not help a child. You can slap $100,000 on the table, and that child with that $100,000 can be well off, or they can be far from well off. They can learn nothing but have $100,000. They
Mm-hmm.
can learn everything and have that $100,000. It's how it's spent and the effort and the intent behind it. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to work with you and you're going to work with me, then the children won't have any problems. But when we're working against each other, no matter how much money comes out, no matter how much stuff happens, the kids always lose. So I would say that the financial aspects break down into what a person can do. If, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if you like to cook like me, if you cooking up a bunch of meals and the kids are eating, then that is something different. You're providing food for the children. But if you're just giving them a bunch of money and then they're going to McDonald's, that child is still malnourished. They might be eating
Mm-hmm.
every day or 3 times a day or 4 or 5 times a day, but they're still malnourished. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just the money that you're putting out, it's how you're spending that money. It's the
Mm-hmm.
quality
Mm-hmm.
versus, oh, well, I spent a whole bunch of money on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I rest my mic.
I think the more important thing is the resources.
Hold up, my brother. We gonna go back. Everybody can get 60 seconds after, but we got to let Lou Cyphia speak. I think I said his name right. We got to let him go get his 2 minutes in on this. Then we'll go back in
Uh,
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Like my situation, it went bad real quick. The argument started, so I had to get out. I moved into a men's shelter, but luckily we avoided the system per se, and I was able to get myself some housing. I was able to get myself some affordable housing in the process because we weren't getting along, and she wanted to press charges on me and stuff like that. But we kind of calmed it down, so to the point that I live in New York, and New York kind of helps a little bit. But the fact is, I've been working since I was 16, and I went from men's shelter to men's shelter to I finally got a room, and like my finances when it comes to taking care of my kids, um, the mother of my kids, she ain't tripped too much. She let me put what I can until I was able to get at least a room for myself. But right now, I don't mind going broke for my kids, but I really wish I had some assistance from the state. Like, um, dudes behave better when they have some place to live, when they're not a minute away from being thrown out on the streets over and over again. And I think it would be good for our mental health if we started making bachelor housing for dudes who aren't crazy, for dudes with, I ain't gonna say good credit scores or nothing, but at least gainfully employed, responsible black men who don't want to be dealing with piss soaked men's shelters where dudes are stabbing each other and like stealing from each other all the time. Like, we got to talk about what rock bottoms looks like for a man, then we build up from there, because that's what the real problem is. Like, because when the system
Mm-hmm.
comes after you hard, and it would be good if we just like had a small little room for dudes who aren't pieces of shit to just keep, to have an address, to have some place to send their paychecks or direct deposit, to have a place where the bank ain't gonna shut your bank account because your account is at zero. Like, I'm just saying, like, we need assistance from the state too in that regards. But I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if we could actually get some real men's rights advocacy in this 2021 and the beyond. And I rest my time.
Okay, Brother Palmetto had something he wanted to add to that. So if anybody else has something they want to add to that, because I know I do, because the person who asked the question, she put something else in it that goes along with the question. So, Brother Palmetto, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to say what you wanted to say.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, my thing is about more or less the resources as opposed to the financial thing. When you talk about financial aspects, and of course, it's about whatever you and the mother of that child could come together with, and you guys know your finances and whatever is agreed upon. But to me it's more or less the resources. That's how a lot of our men get caught up, is it becomes a strictly financial thing. And then that's how, and you can have a good father that's going to jail for child support because he can't meet the financial requirements, or it becomes a challenging thing. And that is just a game for black people to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Especially black men. It turns into it's just it's a trap for black men to go to jail for when you base it strictly on financial. It has to be about the resources. Is that child eating? Is that child being provided for the best way possible? Are they getting good education? Are they, what I'm saying, are they in a place where they can thrive? Are they being provided with everything they need? You know what I'm saying? I think that is more important than the financial thing, because the financial thing, that's like the government. They use that. They're strictly financial based. You got to pay X amount of money,
You
or
got
you're going to
brother.
jail. You know what I'm saying?
You got 10 seconds. All right. Uh
That's all I had to say about that.
okay, Koja Mac, she was asking about, because this has something to do with this question. I just put them together. Health insurance and all that. So the only thing I can do is she said 2 jobs and health insurance. I've worked 2 jobs, health insurance. I've been on where I didn't have insurance, but I made sure my child had insurance.
Hmm.
I had to work 2 jobs times to make sure that my son would have the things that he need, because for me it was more important for my child than it was for me. Now I'm a little, even when he went to stay with his mother in the 5th grade for 1 year, my situation is a little different. I raised my son. My son stayed with me. He moved with me when he was 5 years old. This is my oldest child. Now, I never asked for child support. I never asked her for nothing. I just said, whatever it is you can give, give. And
Hmm.
I understood her financial situation at the time. So I wasn't trying to force anything out of her. And that's just me.
Hmm.
So that's my son, my kids, and I think everyone should make sure their kids have health insurance and have all of that. Because if we're gonna talk about the system, we're gonna have gripes about the system, we supposed to do everything in our power to try to figure out a way to unite with the mother of the child. And uniting don't necessarily mean you're in a relationship. Do everything you can so we can stay out of a system that we say that we know is built against us. We might have to let some of our arguing go. It's okay to let them get away with a few shots. It's okay to let them argue, be a man, and take that shit on the, pardon my French, and take that on the chest and just let it bounce off so you can take
Hmm.
care of your child and stay out of the system. But if you get
Hmm.
caught up in it back and forth with that person, then you're complaining about the system. But I'm going to say it again. You got to look in the mirror and see what you're going to do. Me, when he did stay with his mama, I was just willing to let some of the stuff she said and some of the stuff she was willing to say about me, any of that, just let it go. So once I let that go and she saw I'm going to ever fight her back, I was able to deal with my child without the system. So now we're going to move to the next question. Do you believe fathers that are highly emotional and grew up without guidance create young boys that are the same, despite being married to the mother? Do I need to read that again, Brother Dukes?
Yeah, yeah. Do you believe? Yeah, say it again, please. I'm sorry.
Do you believe fathers that are highly emotional and grew up without guidance create young boys that are the same, despite being married to the mothers?
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. Hell yeah. Oh, excuse my language. Yeah, I think an emotional that don't help. That's abuse. To be an emotionalistic father, that's abuse. That's abuse.
Hmm.
I'm not anti. We all got emotions. I'm talking about emotionalism. I'm talking about listic. Can't even intelligently nurture his own son. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
I'm strongly against emotionalism of a man. A man shouldn't be emotionalistic. I ain't talking about emotion. We got emotions. I'm talking about like where he can't even have a conversation without arguing. That's some BS.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. I rest my mic.
I thought we were going to say talk about the nuclear family thing. But
Uh,
I mean, I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
But I can't wait to answer this question as well.
okay.
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 So what is it? Let me read the question. Do you believe the fathers are highly emotional and grew up without guidance, create young boys that are the same despite being married to their mother? Yes, because if you are highly emotional and you didn't have any guidance and you still haven't figured it out, you can't guide a young man the proper way to teach. You can't guide the young boy into being a young man because you haven't figured it out. Now, I agree with Brother Dukes. Everybody have
Hmm.
emotions, and there's no you can love is an emotion, hate is an emotion. Neither emotion is greater than the other. But just being emotional, arguing all the time, and constantly want to bicker, constantly want to bicker. Now, there are some things that can cause that, and there's some probably some reasons what he went through, or maybe his father. It's certain things that can cause you to have this trauma. That's what I call it. It's not just emotions because what we see every day, uh, it's trauma that we can pass down. And I believe, yes, it is passed down because we haven't figured out a way to deal with the trauma or stop the trauma, stop all the traumatic experiences that happen to us as a people that we see. So we pass, yes, we can pass that down, and you don't have the guidance. And even though you're married to the mother, the young boy, the young man will end up being like the father because the father has passed down trauma, has passed down fear, and has passed down other things that make him the way he is. And I yield the mic.
Can I get on
Well,
that?
Oh, we
oh,
doing the order. It's brother Palmetto, it's brother Sir Senior, then it's brother Lou Cyphia. Uh
Oh,
in 2 minutes we go in order, and
my
as
bad. My
the person speak, everybody stay on mute. Thank you.
okay. So am I speaking on this right now?
Yes, it's on you.
Okay. Do you believe that highly emotional and grow up without guidance create young boys that are the same despite being married to the mother? I think there's so many ways to approach this, and yes, I just off the top, yes, because there's a lot of emotional men out there right now that come from this single mother household, and to me, it also let me do this because I wanted to touch on that comment that about the nuclear family. I think us as Black people, the nuclear family has worked or had worked in the past, um, and I think that now we do need to evolve past that. We need to evolve past the nuclear family because we're trying to contain this, we're trying to make this nuclear family happen again, and it's just too many. We had to evolve past that, you know what I'm saying, into a more communal thing, you know what I'm saying. And if your child grows up like that to where they see, maybe stronger men and not, the father may be, he may be on some other stuff, but if he sees a strong Black man, he still has the ability to see a strong Black man because because it's more communal and more things happening, as far as like that the nuclear family. I think we need to get past that, and that it has so many pitfalls and shortcomings and shortfalls, like, what I'm saying, like now it feels like, the child has to see this father that's all emotional and all that stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? And it just, to me, it's to me, we had to, as Black people, our cultures should be ever evolving and should evolve past, you know, having to deal with that sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? To where, you know, they feel like now the mother feels like she has to deal with this emotional dude, and the child feels like he has to deal with this emotional guy. You know what I'm saying? It needs to expand past those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, to me,
Exactly, my brother.
yeah, that's what I had to say about that. It has to expand past the boundaries so that there'll be more greater influences in that child's life other than an emotional ass dad.
Okay. It's on you, my good brother, Sir Senior.
I'm sorry, my sound was going in and out.
Okay, it's on you, Sir Senior.
I feel, I mean, it kind of goes into my prior statements that without you bettering yourself, you're going to keep recreating yourself. So if you don't do better to fix you, then you're just going to recreate another version of you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know that you have problems with your anger, you need to work on those problems with your anger. Find those things that can help you find the source of that anger and work on that. And then teach those tools to your child. Teach those
Mm-hmm.
tools to the rest of the family. And then while y'all are blatantly practicing those tools, those anger issues that you passed on, those anger issues that you might promote even inside the family, you're able to offset those things and fix those things in motion instead of having to try to go back and fix something that's already been messed up. Um, Another thing I wanted to kind of add with that is that a lot of these things it stems from in the very beginning, before you become a father, you have to get those ideals of what a father is. And we're only talking about men. It's the same thing for women, but we're only talking about men. So if you know as a father, you have certain beliefs, you want to achieve certain things, and you want certain things for your children, then you choosing to date and mate with a woman who is against those beliefs, not she doesn't share those beliefs, she's totally against those beliefs, you're failing yourself and you're failing your children even before they're made.
Mm.
And I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, there's another question. Underrated Dawkins, if you put that in a question, Sister Cudney will put it up for us to read it in a question form. But here's another question right here by a
Well,
black guy, his wife, and
hold
oh, I'm so
on.
sorry, Lewis. I
Yeah.
apologize, brother. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Because
apologize.
all right, let me just try and answer this question the best I can. Like, there's like two kinds of anger. There's like the anger from the dudes that are emotional because they got abandoned when they was younger. So when they see a girl try to break up with them, they lose their minds. And then there's that sheepish emotionality, like he's kind of soft, he cries at movies and stuff like that. What I will say about both regards, a man will, oh, excuse me, a woman will give you something to fight for. Your mom will give you something to fight for. Your father will teach you how to retreat and come back at it from another direction. So we're seeing a lot of young men fight and fight and fight and fight and keep fighting. And that's kind of like twisted because the way that they fight, the way that they're always on 100% with their emotions, their passion is like, no, I'm not doing this, no, I'm not doing that. It kind of attracts women, you know, because like crazy dudes love spitting game for some reason. And you don't realize that he's crazy until he has an emotional breakdown. What I can say is that there's the other type of dude who's like, he's kind of level headed, but he got to learn how to keep his emotions in check. He got to understand that he has to have command presence. You know, he has to have the ability to lead his family without falling into an emotional wreck. He got to understand that his emotions aren't the priority of the family, that you cannot be showing your emotions in front of your kid. And like the worst thing you could do is to lose your composure during emergency situations, including when you're going at it with your girl about X, Y, and Z. So what I'm saying is that not to be gluttonous with your emotions, because you could be a complete human being. You could enjoy, like you could cry at a Saving Private Ryan or some crap like that. You could let one tear fall. That's your right as a human being to be a complete human being. But like when you're using your emotions to manipulate females, when you're using your emotions to I don't know, it's just like because you're just having one breakdown after the next. That's when you're relying on gluttony. That's the sin. You're gluttonous with your emotions. And yes, emotions are still a luxury that we allot for the ladies because it's our job to protect their emotions. And if you out in the front line crying and shit like that, what's the world going to think about your family? You know? So what I'm saying is, you could have your emotions, you could have your real feelings. You could cry at a funeral, but you can't cry because you know your girl leaving you. You're not in front of your kid. You're gonna have to be stoic. You're gonna have to have the mental fortitude to start planning your next move and maybe wipe off one tear or two and walk out that door and what have you. It's just don't be gluttonous with your emotions because nobody really wants to see a crying man. Period. That's all I have to say.
All right. I'm sorry once again, my brother. I was not trying to skip over you. I do apologize, my brother.
It gets like that, man. It gets like
so we're gonna go to the next question that Courtney put up here. Hope blind guys come next after this one, but why do we even have to work two jobs? This come from Hurricane Jose Garcia. Why do we even have to work two jobs? Men used to be able to work one job and able to maintain a household. Do I need to read that again, Brother Dukes?
No, sir. I got that. I can't, again, from the standpoint of dysfunctionalism, when we're dysfunctional, the why and the how is more serious than just one panel discussion. I think this is why we have to counsel ourselves. And I think earlier when the brother was talking about that we need a men's council and the government need to assist us, the only thing I disagree with is the appeal to the government, period. I mean, period. Mm-hmm. To appeal to one another. Black men need to appeal to black men to be men. We need to build developmental manhood. It could be for the elder, for the of age man, as he unite, it will be a great benefit to the young man. So if I answered the question, but I guess that's all I got on my thoughts.
Well, I worked two jobs because one job wasn't enough when I had two jobs, and I had to take care of my child and take care of myself. Excuse me. That's why I worked two jobs. And I know me and Brother Duke, like I said, we've been knowing each other for about 5-6 years now, and we talk. And I understand he constantly say the men council, and I heard a lot of men say that. But Brother Dukes know me. He know I ain't joining no council. I ain't no women involved. He already know I won't be a part of that. And I'm not saying that to be rude to anybody, because the black man and the black woman go together. I'm not going to ever do anything to separate myself from the woman that we are supposed to be protecting, that's raising our kids. Now, we can say we can have a conversation amongst men, but in order to fix the whole thing, and we are talking about raising, this is about black men and young boys, we cannot fix this situation without our women. That's just my take on it. And if we're going to have a council about raising kids, so what's the purpose of our woman if you just want to have a man council on how to raise the kid? The woman gave birth to the young boy, so she has some say so as well. So we need to talk together and work together as a people, as the good brother Palmetto said, the one thing when he was talking about the family structure, I agreed with this part of it when he said we need to become more communal. The community, in the community, not just a community of men, but we need a community of black people, black men and women together to fix our kids, to fix our young boys. Because that young boy, yeah, he's gonna grow to be a man. We're gonna show him how to be a man. But there's a reason man and woman have to make kids together, because every child needs masculine and feminine energy. And if we just get rid of the feminine energy, now what are we creating? He don't need all feminine, because he got all feminine. We know what that's going to turn into. He need masculine and feminine, mother and father. So for me, my panel would be black men, black women together to fix our kids and to work with the black boy. But as a black man, we need to stand up and we need to be more involved. We need to do more mentorship and stuff like that. And I'll hear the mic.
Okay. Is it my turn to speak?
I'm sorry. Yes, it on you, my good brother.
Okay, so the two job thing, and that goes back into what I'm saying about as far as we need a more communal structure, because because now all this pressure, because the living wage, the cost of living has increased. That's why we have and the wages have decreased, or stayed the same. As they haven't gone past, they haven't gone up with the times. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this: we had to find a way to get resources together that doesn't involve that, because when you work in two jobs, you can't really be a father. You know what I'm saying? You're just a slave to the system. You're just a slave to whatever corporation you're working for, and you're a father part time, and they're taking all your whatever that corporation is making you be for that time. And so that's why working together as far as the community is absolutely imperative, especially for black people, because they're pushing us, they're pushing us to just be modern day slaves, and doing this stuff, and we really can't, and we really aren't any influence in our child, except for like a call or something like that. You call your child on your lunch break and all. I mean, that to me, that I wouldn't, I need to be there. I need to see my child. I need to be there and in their presence. You know what I'm saying? And no, I'm not gonna allow anybody to take that away from me. You know what I'm saying? So the solution is for us to come together. My solution is to become black supremacy, and to step into our supreme selves, and to come together and realize our potential as gods, and go towards that godhood, because that working for them thing, and trying to maintain and be a father, and you working a million jobs, that's nah. That you're not a father. You might as well just give your child to the streets. That's my take on it.
All right, my good brother. It's on you, sir, senior.
I really feel that it's kind of the same thing. It runs back. All of it's connected. That you're pushing to chasing money thing, and you can't chase your dreams and money at the same time. You can't focus on making a bunch of money and making a difference at the same time. You can't focus on being productive in your life and always producing a profit at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like there was a scene on, I think, well, it was Brown Sugar, where Tay Diggs, he got the record executive job, and he was really into hip hop and wanted to have the essence and purity of hip hop. But then they were telling him to promote this group or with a black guy and a white guy, and they really couldn't
Oh.
rap and everything else, and the hip hop Dalmatians. So, then his boss told him it's hard to keep it real and keep it profitable at the same time. I'd rather keep it profitable. So that's what we have to make that decision, which is more important, to keep it real or keep it profitable. The problem is we just try to keep it real profitable and say the real comes because I got money. And that's usually not the case. Our priorities need to be focused on the betterment of ourselves, our children, our community. And yes, it does take finances to do that, but finances can't be the only source, because if you have money and you waste that money, then it wasn't worth you getting in the first place. And I yield the rest of my time.
All right, Louis Saifir, is on you.
Yeah, what I gotta say about that is that I don't know if we got that much of a choice, because a car note, not even a car note, a car upkeep will mean you got between housing, healthcare, and a car note. We're talking at least 50,000 a year. You could work like 30,000 a year jobs. You could work like 26,000 a year jobs, but you have to make a certain amount of income. And I know a lot of dudes who are doing just that. I know a lot of fathers who are working two jobs and stuff, but they're with their girls. They're with the wives. They're with the mother of their children, and they have that support system at home. Like at this point, like growing up where I'm growing up, if you work two jobs, you're gonna get cheated on. That's the worst part about it. You're gonna get cheated on, and you ain't gonna know. And the worst thing is the money that you was making when you were working two jobs is gonna be like a curse against you, because now she's used to that two income, and you have to provide that for her and the person she moved in or what have you. So what I'm seeing is that young dudes is like, I'm gonna work one job, and that job is going to be for me. I'm going to push my own ends. I'm going to get what I need to get by. I'm gonna chase after my dreams. And like, if
Mm-hmm.
they ain't stupid enough to get caught up with a shorty, they might see a little money. They might see themselves flexing a bit, and that's when we hold it against black women, you know, because now, like I said, these dudes are on a survival mentality. They don't want to get caught up. They don't want to get dragged into the courts. They don't want to. They don't want to end up like their friends who's paying child support and having to work two jobs, or else you're going to jail. So they like, look, I'm gonna be a bachelor and I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, whatever that means. And it's kind of messed up, but it is what it is. I don't think we have a choice to work two jobs. I think that's how you have to maintain a household nowadays, unless you finally get that the city call you up and say, okay, your score came through for for at least middle class. But right now, as a survival mentality, we have to work two jobs. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the next question by blind guy, his wife, their life. Do you have any daily things that you do with your children? Exercise, bike ride, walk, breakfast, chat, read, that you believe are more impactful for a dad to do with a child? Would you like me to read that again?
No, sir, I got it. The first thing I think of with me and my son is to critical think. When he sometimes I play with him in video games, and to critical think. I would use example, a real life example. I said if you got 10 soldiers I've got 1,000 soldiers with guns, and you got 10 soldiers warring against. I'm sorry, it's warring against 100 soldiers with bombs and guns. How would you fight that war? What would you do? So I use just little stuff like that. Critical think. I think helping our children to critical, our men, our young boys to critical think. It ultimately teaches him how to think instead of what to think. I rest my mic.
Okay, one thing that I did with my kids when they were younger, every day we played blackjack. I taught them to play blackjack. Teaching them to play blackjack when they were 2, 3, 4 years old, it taught them to count. It taught them to count quicker. They learn their numbers. They learn, even though blackjack you going to 21, but getting up to once you start counting, it was easier for them to catch on. For me anyway, and plus, I enjoy playing blackjack, but I used it to teach them how to count 21. That was one thing that's one of the things that we did every day. Yes, we sat down, we talked. You know what? We would go to the gym, boxing gym. They didn't go to the gym, but went to the boxing gym and got them involved in stuff like that. And I was there with them, and I was learning while they were learning, and I believe they caught on and learned a little bit more than me. But those are some of the things that I think was impactful because they remember those days. Or when we would sit down and talk, and I would say their name, I wouldn't just say their name, I would spell their name to them. And by the time they were 4, I say Jake, Jake. And by the time he was 4 years old, 3, 4 years old, ask him to spell his name. He may have to say it. He'll say Jake, Jake, or my daughter Jacoby, Jacoby. But that was some of the things that was impactful, and that are some of the things that we did every day. I would just spell when I say their name, I would spell it to them every time so they could learn to say it. We sat down, we played cards. Honestly, blackjack was the game that we played 21, and it taught them to count. And when they got 5, 6, 5 and 7 years old, we would go to the gym and they were boxing, learn how to throw their punches, and we did it together. And it was good exercise. And I think it was impactful. Not saying that my kids are perfect. Lord knows I be want to bust my oldest son my youngest son in the head right now. But I think it was impactful though. And I hear the mic.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yes, it's on you, my good brother.
Okay. Well, I only have one child, and let me say this too. I do have to exit the panel at noon my time. It's 11:55, so I have 5 more minutes on here. Um, but I want to give a shout out to Courtney, and you guys connect with me on Facebook T Ford or on Instagram 2 Raw for TV Takeover. But with my daughter, I read with her every day. I read and I count. We count every day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very a creative person, so we sing and dance every day. Every day I'm with her. We're on the drums. We do the drum, the talking drum, and we play on that. We listen to different beats and stuff like that, and make music. So I want to show my daughter a wide range of creativity, and also I read with her so to improve her speaking skills, and I count with her like when we go up the steps every time we step, I count 1, 2, we count the steps.
Okay, that was it, my brother. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Senior, it's on you.
I'll say one of the important things that I used to always do with my kids. I haven't been able to see my children due to my kid's mom, you know, in custody court and things of that nature. Just being honest. But one thing that I always, did with my kids before that happened when I had them all to myself and when we had them together, is I always read with them and I taught them pretty much, everything that I could. My mom did something with us when we were children that I tried to instill in my kids was she would call it, we'll have cooking experiments. And that taught me science and it taught me how to cook. So as soon as I could walk good, she had me, in the kitchen helping doing stuff. You base it off of what their ability is. Sometimes they can just mix this together. Sometimes, stir the pot or stir the bowl or whatever it is. But you start learning how to make things. Um, you start learning how to create things, in the kitchen and otherwise. We're gonna have little science experiments and we'll learn how to build little things, TPs, bow and arrows, whatever it was, something different or weird they wanted to learn. Um, and those things are very important. Those small things that we think are nothing, teaching them how to tie their shoe, ride a bike, throw, a punch, all those little things, how to write their name, all those little things are very important. And teaching them how to, clean their shoes, brush their teeth properly, lotion their body, little simple things that we take for granted actually sticks with them the rest of their lives. Because I know those types of things that I learned stuck with me, and the things that I didn't get to learn from my father stuck with me that I was like, I wish my father would have taught me that. I had to learn that on my own or from my mom or something, you know, one of those type of situations where I really regretted not learning those lessons. So we have to focus on those things that we were taught by our parents and the things we wish we were taught by our parents and pass that on to our children. And I yield the mic.
All right, thanks for that. Oh, the brother Palmetto, he did say he had to leave in 5 minutes, and if he's still listening, man, it was good being on the panel with you, man. I thank Courtney for allowing me to be on her panel so I could be on here with you. Hopefully, we get to speak again in these YouTube streets. What's the next question, Courtney? You want me to find it? Okay, I see. I'm going to read this one. Okay, here's the question. How should the community address women violating little boys? Would you like me to read that again for you, Brother Dukes, because you say you can't see it?
Yeah, I don't understand the question. I think I heard it. How should we address with it?
Yeah, they violate little boys.
Well, I'm not clear on that because what does she mean by violation? So I could answer it with a
I guess like
question.
or something like that.
Like what?
I guess like molesting little boys if women is violating little boys.
Okay. Okay. Number one, again, coming from the standpoint of dysfunctional communities, it does involve the mother and the father, but I think the end of the day, we have to learn the black woman and the black man have to learn to get along together. So however we try and criticize or correct a woman that does that, that's rare. It might be I hear most reverse, the man violating, I hear most reverse and never heard of it that way, but in the black community, but I don't know about the white community, but I don't know how to address, but all I got to say is that coming from the standpoint of dysfunctional family, we have to come from that standpoint. So the quick attack on each other is not good, and then trying to use the system to make things better is not good. The system never have fair judgment. The only fair judgment is going to come from us. So we have to be the ones that counsel ourselves. But I believe this though, and I'm gonna close from here. I don't have a real straight answer, but I never experienced that type. But I experienced the opposite. What we had to do to the individual. But I believe that there is a time for men to come together and counsel themselves with the exclusion of women. Now, I don't say it in the way that, because I'm very, matter of fact, in the Muslim faith, they say woman is God. And I say I agree with a small g. So that's my position on women. But what I'm saying is that we need to be counseled on how to service her, how to treat her. And even if she's in the wrong in some cases, how to deal with that. So have our own counsel. I believe that we need to form our own counsel so we can learn how to treat her and then overcome the system's traps and tricks that they have up their sleeve against us as a nation, as men. So I see that differently in terms of exclusively, that we should not be exclusive in some case. It's the same case as a war. You go on a war, you may have some women jump up and say, "Hey, I'm getting a gun. We going to war. I mean, a physical war." And then, but by nature, the man is going to jump up. He's going to fight like the gorilla. He's going to fight. He's going to shoot. He's going to do what he got to do. But not putting the woman down that she's not aggressive enough to do that. But the point I'm making is that we need counsel. We need to be counseled, and not by the system, not by some white man or white system. We need counsel by each other. And then once we learn to be counsel, the women can be on their program will be a separate counsel, and the men can be a separate counsel. Then we can come together as healthy nuclear family of human beings. I rest my mic.
Okay. Is anybody gonna speak? Right.
Hold up, I thought you had left. Then you just came back.
You know what? If you press that little square button on the Samsung phone, you off the.
Oh, I didn't know. So, but we still going in the same order though.
Yeah, got it.
I think the community address women violating little boys the same way they violate the same way you address a man for violating little boys and little girls. Excuse me. But yes, that's my answer. That's my answer to that. That's my answer to that question. And I know you say, see, I'm not a religious person, so when someone mentioned religion like Islam or Christianity and stuff like that, I do believe the black woman is God, and I put a big G next to the black woman. I don't know what the little G mean. I don't think she, and I think the black man, I think black man and black woman is God together. That's the Holy Trinity, in my opinion, black man, black woman, and child. And I put big G's next to it. I don't know what the little G represent. That's mine, coming from my African studies. Like I said, I really don't do religion. I don't think I think it's okay for men to hold a conversation, but to have a committee with just what we gonna talk about raising the children. I don't think a woman should be excluded from that. I'm not saying a man, like I do believe a man, once boys get a certain age, the man have to be there to do the mentoring, because a woman can't turn into a man. And vice versa, can't show a little boy how to be a man, and vice versa. That's just my thinking on that. But I just think since it took both to make the child, it gonna take both to raise that child and give the child everything that it needs. And that's just my personal opinion on that. And I yield the mic.
I would say that I understand the brother who asked the question. I understand the sentiment he's coming from, and which naturally happened when the question was posed to the panel. Everyone said, "Well, I never heard of that. It's always come from the other side." But women abusing young boys sexually or otherwise happens all the time. We don't see it as abuse, or we don't speak on it as abuse. We don't look at it as egregious. When a little boy is molested by or raped, by an older woman or even a woman or female of his age range. He's looked at as something's wrong with him because he doesn't like it. And he might just not like that person. He might not like being molested by his family member or friend of the family or his friend or whoever it is. So those things have to be addressed. That's another way that I would say that the lack of a better term, the rainbow community are able to prey on our young children, males and females, because when they were abused, they didn't like it. And then these children are taught and told that because you didn't like, being touched or, being engaged in the sexual nature with the opposite sex, something's wrong with you. So they'll say, well, I must be gay because since I didn't like it. And those things aren't what should happen. A young boy should be protected. A young girl should be protected. If it's from a male or if it's from a female. That female is just as nasty and horrible as that male. That male is just as nasty and horrible as that female. So it shouldn't be biased by gender, saying, okay, well, men are nasty for doing this, but it's okay for women. It's not. It's nasty both ways. It's harmful both ways. And we should be more pointing out these wrongs. I believe in bringing shaming back. Someone said that in an open discussion, and people have you know, re-spoken about this in certain panels and books and all different types of stuff. And I'm big on that. I really believe in that because now we are at a point where we just agree with everything. Oh, well, marriage is just um, it's just paperwork. Well, when you go and do a job, you want them to stick to that paperwork. Same thing should be for marriage. So if we're going to have rules, we need to have rules. Like it's blatant that men should be held accountable and women should be held accountable. I don't care if they're rich, I don't care if they're poor, I don't care if they're close to you, I don't care if they're complete strangers. They should be held accountable. That's the only way we can be better, and that's the only way we can make it better for little kids.
All right, Louis Cyphiers on you.
Yeah, we do got to keep an eye out for those predators who enter in relationships with these single mothers and abusing the young boys because I think they're getting away with it easier because the little girls have been taught to protect herself. The little boys are not told, like, you know what, this dude, if you know what it is, they're not being told to look out for those kinds of people. At the same time, maybe we should start worrying about other types of abuse that we let little boys go through, like violence, domestic abuse. Um, they're, like if they're getting bullied at school, I don't think there's a social safety net for that. There's no social structure to tell a young boys that you getting your ass whooped. This is who you go to for some trouble. Now he's just gonna have to thug it out for the next 4 years and stuff like that. That shit's gonna cause him psychological trauma. It's going to cause them damage. It's going to make them anger. It's going to make them angry. It's going to make them feel helpless. It's like there is no. I remember I had this conversation with another panel. I said there is no hospital for masculinity. There's no place to go to talk about your problems. There's no place to confess all your sins against not being strong. So you just boil that shit up inside and let it eat you alive. I think what I want to say is that we have to talk about physical abuse from the streets, physical abuse at homes, as much as we have to talk about sexual abuse from those type of people. because it's like, we're young men are getting it from all sorts of directions, and when they flip out and want to slap box with cops, that's when we pretend to care about their life. Like, I remember this one dude, Laquan McDonald. He was the dude that was walking down Chicago with a knife in his hand, and the cops put 16 bullets in him. And Black Lives Matter, sensing an opportunity for a check and some media attention, they went at it and say, "Oh, Laquan McDonald, resign." I think it made the police chief resign and all that. But if you check what happened with Laquan McDonald, he had cigarette burns on his arms and a history of being raped by his mother's boyfriends. So the streets pounded this dude into dirt, and the only time we pretended to care about this young brother is when he walked down the street with a knife in his hands, begging for the cops to end his suffering. That's one of the things I can't stand about BLM. That's what I can't stand about the LGBT community, because I think they stole our purpose. They stole our cause. They stole our political movement to heal young men, and they turned it into a platform for the Democratic Party. I think we might need to get on that and try and tell them we are in charge of our well-being. And that's all I have to say. Peace.
All right, thank you. So let me say this, Brother Duke, because I don't want nobody to think I'm coming at them. When I keep saying about the community, how we should be together, I think Black people as a whole right now in this country, we are way too divided. This is just my opinion, that we are way too divided to start having separate communities for men and women when we are not even together at all. And social media has completely exposed how Black men and Black women feel about one another. Mostly coming from the men, from what I see, but how Black men and Black women feel about one another. So that's why I continue to say, it's not that I think that you may be wrong and I'm just absolutely right, but I just think that we are so divided as a people that we shouldn't divide ourselves more, talking about this is going to be for the men and this is going to be for the women, when we are already completely divided as a people. That's my take on it. And if you have something you want to say about that before I read the next question, you can go ahead. If anybody else, they can go ahead. 60 seconds. Brother Dukes. Oh, he fell off. Okay. Cody Max, what communities do y'all live in? She live in a one traffic light town. Oh, Brother Dukes is back. Oh, that's Mark Nash. Okay. So
I just want to.
Brother Dukes, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I want to respond real quick to what you just said. 1 second. 30 seconds. Hello?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, real quick, I appreciate you clarifying that. I think we're on the same page. It's just, I think that we just have to, build, somehow create a system to build men, masculinity, men, be men, and be women. Just be naturally what we are, and kick the LBG out of our community. I rest my mic.
Okay. So the next question is from Culture Mac. What communities do y'all live in? She was one traffic light town, and these conversations happen regularly. Brother Dukes, is back to you. Wait a minute, please, Mark Nash. You want to introduce yourself right quick before we get to the next question? I know I just said your name, but you can tell them your channel right quick. Okay. All right, Brother Dukes, you want to respond to that?
Can you hear me?
Read it again, please.
Hello?
Hold on. Yeah, okay, we heard you then, Mark Nash.
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody good morning, good afternoon. Hope y'all having a pleasant and productive day. I appreciate you guys for the invite and the email. Sorry I'm a little late, but I was listening, but my phone cracked, so I got some technical issues. But yeah, I'm enjoying the show very much.
All right.
And you can follow me at Mark Nash on all platforms.
All right, thank you. So Brother Suka said, what community do you live in? She said she lived in a one-horse town, one traffic light, where they had these conversations every day.
I want to say I live in Atlanta, but I think that's to my point of view, it's not relevant because I think we need to create community. We need to create our community, create a new us, a new black community. So with that being said, I can be in the worst part of the community. I'm in a bad community, so not to tell you what the bad things are, but I don't look at the bad. I try to find 10 good men, men and women. I try to find them so I can build a community. So with the mindset to build community, I don't care if I'm in a city in New York or a city in Atlanta or a city in anywhere else in America. You're gonna find this degenerated system, and you're gonna have to have the mindset to build your community right there and find those good people so you can build. So I'm in a really bad area. So I ain't proud to even mention that. I rest my mic.
I live in the Atlanta area, but we had these conversations on the regular too, and I agree with Brother Dukes about it's time for us to start building our own communities. But when we build our own communities, these conversations still need to be had. There need to be rules set, and this going to back to the last question. Anyone who's harming kids and hurting kids, they need to be punished. Absolutely, it doesn't make a difference who it is, man or woman. You harming a little child, you need to be punished without a doubt. But like I said, like Brother Duke said, it's time to build our own communities. It's time for us to create our rules where we live, and we know what we're going to accept and what we're not willing to accept. And I yield the mic. Sir Senior, it's on you.
Well, I live in Raleigh, here in North Carolina. Um, I've lived in a couple of different small towns here in North Carolina, not far from Raleigh or even Johnson County, but I found that a lot of the same stuff happens everywhere, and it just might manifest itself a little different. So we have to make these changes, as we say, first in our homes, in our neighborhoods, and then in our community abroad.
That's it.
Yes, sir. I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, Louis Cypher is on you.
Okay, I'm from New York. I think I said that before. Um, there's something about this community thing that we're not talking about. What does a community mean? It's a common unity. What's our platform? What's the root truth of our union right now? And I don't think we have one. I think we need one. I think we need to at least establish a foundation of truth and at least a couple of simple edicts that everyone could follow from the start. That's going to clear up some of the confusion. Like, for example, there's a lot of damaged young men who are on the internet recruiting other damaged young men, and I don't think it's helping anybody when, like, I don't know, when broken dudes are leading beta males. That's hustling in reverse. I think we need to learn how to shut some people off and pass the mic to others. But that's a conversation that we need to have separately. I think there's also some things about masculinity that we need to talk about between ourselves that it's not really fit for women to be hearing at this time. I think that we need to set up some ground truth for ourselves, then share it with the women because I don't know, we can't be 100% unified on everything. We're gonna have to learn how to, we're gonna have to separate our interests when we can. But other than that, we need a ground truth for our community to start. It's pretty much it. Rest the rest of my time.
Okay, Snuggles 668 ask a question. What do y'all consider a broken man? I'm gonna repeat that again because I know Brother Dukes can't see it. What do y'all consider a broken man? Okay, Brother Dukes fell off. I'm gonna give him a second to come back before I begin to
Can you
answer
hear
that
me?
question. Okay, Brother Dukes, you're back?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What do we consider a broken man?
Yes.
Okay. Before I define what I think a broken man is, I have to have a historical definition as well as a present, because without a historical definition, it doesn't give you an explanation to how in the hell he got broken. Anyway, a broken man, a man is a provider and protector. He does everything to bring about the necessities to his wife and children, just in theory, to his family, to those he loved. He also is a protector. By nature, we all of those things that a woman needs and a child needs. By nature, we are providers and protectors. By nature, we take care of her. We protect her emotions in every sense of the word. If I had the power of God and I wanted to attack anyone in our community, first it'd be the men. I would attack them first. I don't even see the women because we're victims and they're victims too. But we are the main target for a reason. So I think we need repair big time. And I think with our repair, then comes the woman repair right behind us. But I hope I answered the question. What is a broken man? A broken man is one who don't provide and don't protect in every sense, emotional, intellectual, financial, every sense, in every corner. I rest my mic.
Okay. Brother Dukes just touched on something, and what I was going to say was what I would consider a broken man. I've heard some of these conversations on YouTube. When you find a man that's not willing to provide for his want, something has happened, who hasn't willing to provide, who don't want to provide, who is constantly complaining about why he should provide or why he should protect or why he should do the things that a man should do. For me, I say the four pillars of a man, and once again, I'm speaking from my opinion and the way I was raised, uh, that's instilled in me: respect, love, provide, protect. And a broken man is a man who's not going to be missing at least one. Completely broken, they're missing all. That don't respect a woman, that don't want to love a woman, that don't see a need to protect, that don't see a need to provide. That's an absolute broken man. Now, why he is broken, I don't know. Maybe he's broken because that's something that he saw being raised, or what we see going on in this country can break some men. But that's what I would consider a broken man who don't want to stand and do the things that a man is supposed to do for his family, himself, or his community. That's a broken man. And I yield the mic.
I would say that a broken man is one who hasn't, not only one that won't do the right things, one who is trying to do the right things for the wrong reason. I will also say that man is also broken. Um, I will also say the one who was never taught, the one who was never taught to do the right things for the right reason or any reason, is also broken. And a lot of times we will think because we make money or because we have, a wife or a girlfriend, or we have some type of status, that we're not broken, or it's okay for us to be broken. But just because you're productive financially does not mean that you're whole. And if you're not whole, if you're wealthy or poor, you're broken. And I think that we should be pointing that out more, that it's not okay to be broken, period. It's okay to get broke or to be damaged, but it's not okay to stay that way. And I yield the mic.
Okay, Lewis,
Yeah.
on you, my brother.
All right. My thing is that we don't control how hard the world hits the black man. So I'm not that keen on passing negative judgment on him. Like, it could be a psychological thing. He might not be mentally stable. He might not have the family support. But my thing is, if you don't have the ability to provide or protect, if you are not mentally well enough to be part of society, insofar as taking care of your responsibilities as a man, then you're broken. Now, I wanna set up some kind of platform where we could get help to these brothers to get their heads out of their asses, or at least put them somewhere where they can't harm people. But I think that we have let a community like that flourish inside of the black community, and we haven't addressed it. We haven't addressed mental health needs. We haven't addressed psychological well-being, or nothing like that. We need to address employment opportunities for men coming out of prison who have who've probably been brought through the worst ends of the system. So it's not like we need to judge them. It's like we have to find out what's best for them, because they don't know what's best for themselves. Like, you cannot have these people around children. You cannot have these people wandering the streets. You cannot have these people just waiting for a reason to end their lives in a spectacular fashion. I mean, it was this one time, a small, short story. I knew this girl who was going with her friend to visit her friend's baby daddy in prison, and she came back with a phone number of a dude that's about to get out. This dude got out. He shacked up with her. Da da da. Whoopie whoop. We found out about it because he kidnapped her daughter. He kidnapped her daughter, and when she was trying to wrestle back her daughter from this crazy broken dude, the dude pulled out a box cutter and started slicing her, and he left with the child. The cops had to chase the dollar van around. So we need to stop that situation from happening, because broken people do messed up things. And I think we need to start from scratch how the black man is getting drove through the system, that he would consider that a good idea. We really do need, like I said this a couple of times, like, there is no hospital for masculinity. There's no hospital for broken masculinity. Like, sex and pussy is considered the only real hospital for masculinity. If you getting pussy, then you're doing everything right. But we need to find a better solution than that. We might need to talk to young brothers. We might need to catch them out of the pen. We might need to start with those job training programs and everything, so that they don't fall off and become from having low social capital to being completely and totally broken. That's all I have to say.
Lewis, I feel you said some stuff that's then you said what I was talking about, the job programs and all that. And you also said some stuff that's going to lead in that. What you said also going to lead into the next question too, as well. Who are you going to ask to repair the family? And do you think they are willing to repair what they have decimated? I'm going to read that one more time. Who are you going to ask to repair the family? And do you think they are willing to repair what they have decimated?
The end point. Do you think they're willing to repair what they decimated? What decimated mean? Destroy? Could y'all hear me?
Yes, that's decimated. Yes.
What they destroy. Okay, so let me hear it again, because I'm trying to. I ain't used to that word, and it just throws my thoughts off. But
who are you going to repair? Who are you going to ask to repair the family? And do you think they are willing to repair what they have decimated?
Oh, that's a good question, and I think I got an answer. You, me, we, me, you, philosophy means that we need to look in the mirror and start saying, here, let me fix myself. And then as I fix myself, create an ability to fix others in your community. So I think the you philosophy is what I believe, where that answer is me, better myself, so I can be to some value to my community, especially women and children, especially women and children. I am completely upset or down, discouraged about the whole lack of unity among our men. You know, it's just disturbing to me. But yeah, that's the you philosophy. That's what I believe in. Look in the mirror. You the one that has to fix it. As long as we continue to look outside of ourselves, I think we'll always sing instead of swing. We'll always be in a talk show instead of a show that plans some kind of act that's going to start building. Again, I think we're numbers. We blinded by numbers. We don't ever look at ourselves and say, you know what, we on this panel is conscious. Let's gather together on a city by city basis. See how many Atlanta members on the panel. See how many, South Carolina, whatever, wherever you at, and let's start forming something. Let's physically start forming something. Before we can actually form something, we have to actually have an idea. So we had to have a discussion as well. So the you will relate to the us. So I think the answer is me, and I think it's you, and then it becomes the us, and not outside of us in this panel. The us on this panel is where it starts, not the outside of us. In us, me, you. I rest my mic.
I agree with what Brother Dukes just said. It's us, the people that decimated, destroyed, whatever word you want to use. If they had any intentions on fixing it, it would have been fixed. This is the example I always use. People go to war for 20 minutes. They come back, of course, maybe yes, I say 20 minutes. But they come back, PTSD, they go get psychological help. They can get all that. We have been going through trauma ever since we've been here, ever since we came in contact with certain people, right? But we have never gotten any help. So it's up to us and everything that we have gone through. And this is what I always say, and I hope don't nobody take no offense to this because I'm including myself. I say all Black people are crazy. And what I mean by that is with everything we have been through, with everything that we have seen, everything, it has completely impacted us mentally. It's not one Black person that's seeing this trauma. Even in 2020, we still seeing our people being hung from trees. Even now in 2020, we're seeing us do drive-bys. So it has affected all of us. So whose job is it to fix it? It's our job. So we have to, like the brother said, create some type of platform. And that's why he touched on a lot of things that I always say. We have to create some type of platform where our psychologists or whatever come, and psychiatrists, they come and they help us, our therapists, they come and they give us a hand, and we begin to help one another and heal. And when he said about the job, I'm sorry I had to pause that, but the job program, something I say we need, and I'm gonna use this for an example because this is what I'm doing currently. I drive trucks, right? But we always have to go to other people to get the CDL and all that. We should have a way where we can put our money together and create our own school, find a brother that owns a couple of trucks and make sure we get licensed to teach. And those are some of the things that that brother mentioned, something that I always talk about. It's time in 2020 for us to start putting ourselves in a position where we don't have to go to everybody for everything. We don't have to go to everybody for everything. And once we began to do that, not just talking about it, began to do it and began to show it, we will see our conditioning will change. But it's up to us to change it. And I yield the mic to you, brother.
Really, I would say that normally we will look at and say the outside people are the ones who decimated our families, but it's honestly us. They set forth a plan and they set us up to do it ourselves. We're the ones who change our morals. We're the ones who change our values. We're the ones who choose not to work together and take the abuse from outside corporations, companies, and people, but won't put up with, a bad look from our own people. So we have to fix it. You can go and sign up for a gym membership. You can even get a personal trainer. You can buy all the programs and even buy the equipment at the house. But if you don't roll out the bed and throw down the peanut brittle and actually do those push-ups, you got to shut up because it's on you to actually make something different. And it's on us to make something different. That's not just with us saying it, it's us actually doing it. We have to look at ourselves and say, when's the last time we helped somebody when we had the option, when we could get someone else to do it who may have the same qualifications or more, but we chose to help the person who was up and coming, the person who really needed our help, who could use that purchase or that time, versus somebody who don't think twice about your purchase or your time. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And I yield the rest of my time.
It's on you, my good brother Louis, I feel.
All right. Okay. Here's what I see. Like, we have to have a game plan for everybody because not everybody is our allies. Like, whether we like it or not, we have to have a game plan for the white man who has the access to the masculine social capital, the accreditations, the principles, the equity, so that you could prove that you have some talent. Like, if you have a CDL driver's license, you probably had to go through a white instructor. What I'm saying is you got to respect that their power base is the fact that they have the reins. They are the gatekeepers to masculine social capital. You have to challenge the white man's rules and show that you're more than willing to accomplish those rules. We have to have a game plan for the LGBT community, who, on one end, they they swallow up most of the social safety net money that's supposed to go to everyone. Like, if the LGBT gets like at least 90% of all of New York State's resources when it comes to healthcare and stuff, and like we need to start acting for our fair share of social safety net programs. We have to have a separate game plan for the good Black women that we could build with, the ones that want strong Black men by their sides, the ones who want a partner, the ones who want to live in a happy family, who don't want to deal with crazy Negroes and whatnot. We have to have a game plan for them. And we have to have a separate game plan for those sisters who are just looking for a come up, those sisters who are exploiting weak dudes, beta males, like dudes who have social resources but don't have confidence. We have to have a separate game plan for white women because they're running the show right now. They're the ones who are telling the white man what policies to make. So, as Black men, and of course, we have to have a game plan for ourselves. We need a strategy for everybody. It's not going to fall on one person because we have rivals and we have straight up enemies, and we need to put everybody in the appropriate order. Right now, like I said, I would like to see more beta males, guys without confidence, but guys with at least a little bit of social capital. I'd like to see them stop listening to broken males. I'd like to have a unilateral, excuse the noise. I'd like to have a unilateral policy of not talking bad about good relationships go on in the Black community. No more dirty gossip about, she mind your business, let those relationships live. let those people live. I think we need to stop talking about interracial dating, because it's not really an issue if you weren't checking for these ladies and you weren't checking for these dudes anyway. I think we need some ground rules established, and then we could start talking about what we're doing for ourselves and what job opportunities are there, what masculine social capital, what state accreditations could I get right now to help my flex, to make me a more tangible, more valuable male. Then we move on from there when it comes to attraction, the rules of attraction, and being likable, learning to love the Black woman again, and learning to hate your enemies like they hate your happiness. That's all I have to say.
All right. Okay, what I see in here now is a closing comments. What step are you taking to improve the quality of Black men in our communities? I'm going to read that again. So I guess this go along with the closing comments, Brother Duke. So I'm going to read it again. What step are you taking to improve the quality of Black men in our community?
Okay, I say the step that I'm taking is that I'm thinking scientifically and I'm thinking systematically how to unify my people. So all of those, my organization and everything that I do, my job, I want to think scientifically, like what is the way to bring us together? How can we build us again? So, and in that attempt and in that mindset that I have, communication is the basis of it all. So, communication, learning how to communicate, learning how to communicate solutions. Of course, everybody on the panel could give a definition of a problem, but if we go around in the same circle and say, what's the definition of a solution? What steps should we take? What's the first step? And we start counseling ourselves. That's where the healing is. See, this is one of the things I believe spiritually. When your body gets cut, it heals itself. It's the same thing with the spiritual. The Black man, Black woman, the Black nation can come together and heal itself. It can heal itself. It has to be able to believe that. So we come together and start healing ourselves. We need our own counsel. And others that are distractions, anything that don't love Black or love African, doesn't love us, is a distraction. We have to be able to X them out in some way, in some fashion, erase them or get them out of the way, separate from them, just like we plan to separate from the Europeans or the white man, separate from those they call Negroes or coons, separation to the point where we could actually cultivate ourselves and rebuild our nation on the basis of family, men, real women, so children could have, so we could have more mercy towards our children, so they could have a hope in us. And I rest my mic. Thank you again, Sister Courtney, for inviting me on. Please invite me on, everyone, because this is the start of solving our problem as a people. Thank you for everybody on the panel as well.
First, thank you, Sister Courtney, for allowing me to be on your panel today. It was good meeting the brother Louis Saifi on the panel. I hope you check out my channel, man. I would like to, excuse me, I would like to be on the platform with you again. So, Senior Brother Duke, y'all already know how I feel. It was good being here with y'all. Thanks everyone in the chat for listening. And I hope I said some things that you like. And if you did, my channel is Brother Bakari. Go smash the subscribe button and that notification bell. But some of the things that I'm doing, like I said, I was in the mentoring program. I talk to the youth about us. I talk to the youth about us and the things that they can do now, what they can change now, so they don't have to go through. Well, I ain't gonna go through, so they don't have the same conversation when they're my age that I'm having at my age. Hopefully it's a different conversation for them. I'm trying to get things in order. Well, you just saw me, if anybody saw my channel, you saw where I started my own personal book drive, Bakari's Black Book Drive. And I was out giving books to the youth, and it's teach you about, in the books I was giving some ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Others teach you about how love being who you are, love being black, to the little black girls, love your hair, love the skin you in, you know, things like that. So those are some of the things that I'm doing to change the youth. And with these teenagers, I sat down and had a conversation with them. My son is 17, so of course his friends, they're seniors in high school too. So I speak to them like young men. I speak to them like young men, not like they're a little boy, because they are young men now at 17, 18 years old. And we just talk about their future and certain things they need to handle. And when they go to college, certain positions that they may be put in. And I want them to learn how to think under pressure. Regardless of what happened, you always have, your brain is your strongest muscle. So I want them to know how to use their brain even under pressure. Stay calm and relax. Don't care what come your way. You never let them know. You stay calm and you stay relaxed, and that way you can think better. And we're going to make better decisions that way. And once again, before I yield the mic, I thank you, Sister Courtney. Thanks to everybody on the panel. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Check out my show I got coming at 2 o'clock today called Minding Our Black Business. I yield the mic, Brother Lewis.
Well, salute to Sister Courtney for allowing us to get together and, you know, speak today and enlighten and empower each other. Thank you for everybody who's listened to this on the playback, everybody who has come in, you know, in and out on the panel or in the chat. We just got to keep building and moving forward and focus on our goals, and anything that's not towards the betterment of ourselves and our community, we got to let that be to the side. No matter if it's close to us, no matter if it's family, no matter if it's us, we got to cut those parts out so we can build on a solid foundation. I'm Sir Senior, and I co-host on Mark Nash. Check us out there. We talk about a variety of different things, from sports to music to community. We're always trying to build, and most of the people that I've seen in the chat, each one of their channels or the channels that they're on, they're doing some of the same things. So we need to promote each other and share and like and subscribe to each other and promote others to do the same thing. Salute to everybody. Be safe, be blessed, be certain.
All right. I guess thanks to everybody on the chat. It was an uplifting conversation. We need to have more of these. Thank you, Sister Courtney, for inviting me on to this panel. I really enjoyed myself talking to y'all. But if there's anything I want to say, I just want y'all to remember that between everything that's went on between our community, our common unity, that it's a revolutionary act to love the Black woman. You were mentally programmed to hate because you was deprived of masculine social capital from the white power structure. It doesn't mean that you can't get back on and build yourself, but you got to understand that the fruits of your labor has been stolen from you, and it was stolen from you because the white man knows that there is only but so much resources to gather around. So he forced you out of the job market, or he quarantined you into the lower end. That doesn't mean that the higher life isn't for you. It's just a matter of strategy. Now, like I said before, I just want an end to all the toxicity, to all the negativity, to all the hate, because that's what they intended for us. That's what they want us to be. They pretty much kept us out of the legitimate job market and gave us this underground economy to talk about, this hustling, this drug dealing, this rapping about crimes, credit cards and that. And as we're seeing these job opportunities, these hood job opportunities go away, we're going to see a lot of young brothers have nowhere to go. And it's our job to set up somewhere they could go, where they could get their name clean, where they could get their names out of the white man's computers, where they could get a opportunity to build themselves back up again, so that they could be fathers and husbands and community leaders. And I'm just going to end it off by saying this: spirituality breeds fraternity, fraternity breeds prosperity, prosperity breeds patriarchy, and patriarchy breeds spirituality all over again. So that's all I have to say. God bless Sister Courtney, and happy holidays to everyone who's following. Boyd, I'm out.
I wanted to sincerely thank everyone that was a part of this dynamic panel. I can tell you all, I learned just so much by being a listener as opposed to, and there were several spots that I wanted to jump in. But honestly, being a listener, being able to kind of be a fly on the wall, so to speak, was really invaluable. I want to thank a few people for, just coming in today. First and foremost, gentlemen, kudos on this panel. Just amazing with the way. Thank you so much, Brother Bakari, for moderating. Because I had my hands full with these questions in the chat. So thank you so much for leading that effort. Brother William, always, because I know you're busy. I know you're busy and working, brother. So thank you so much for pulling up today and just not only pulling up, but contributing up and elevating the conversation as always, as expected. You do so beautifully and so passionately. Thank you. Brother Lewis, thank you so much. Right on time today. And I sincerely mean it when I say I want you to email me. I want to talk about that platform. I think you were right on the money from the first time you ever said it, that, it really, Lizzie is the only hospital that a lot of our, men know and understand. And I really hear you loud and clear when you say that. Again, Sir Senior, brother in faith, brother in fight, always a pleasure, always looking to be having mediation as a goal, and I appreciate you for that always. If anyone is interested in joining the MX Media Group, please make sure you do so by going to groupglowup@gmail.com. That is my email address directly, and just find out more what that entails. We are a free network. The brothers that led the conversation today are members of MX Media Group, and those members included Brother Bakari, Black Youth Congress, absolutely, and my brother, absolutely, in fight and in revolution. Revolution is the only solution. Brother Palmetto Star, also regarded and known as Prophet Rosette. He has a book dropping that I was so proud to be the lead editor on, that is dropping January 20th, 2021. And he also will be leading a local rally here in Atlanta, Georgia on next Saturday, January 9th, the Black Anti-Vaccine Rally, of which I am also looking forward to being a part of. Thank you so much, Koja Malik, for being in the room today. Always bringing it, always moving the conversation. Taylor for kicking off with such great questions, really got the panel moving. Hurricane Joe Jose Garcia doing what you do, and a lot of the extra, but absolutely, brother, appreciate it. And still waiting on those beard pictures. Definitely still waiting, but kidding. But thank you. Snuggles, absolutely. You don't have to elbow cough. I see you and I salute you. No, never throw you away. Never will. Like I said, I apologize. Yesterday you sent me a lot of good videos to ponder and look over. But y'all know what it is. The babes are back in town, so mommy duty is on full again. But at least as y'all saw, my stream, I went a little bit smoother today. All of my equipment has been identified and relocated. So With that being said, I am going to leave the chat up a little bit just so everyone can grab email addresses, can grab handles. Oh, brother Mark Nash, also for being part of the panel. Thank you today. Underrated Darkness asked an incredibly poignant question, and one that stings because I have been unfortunately on the I was on the um, wrongly accused, and which also always has blown my mind because when it comes to advocacy, I, I love being a mother, but I also love it strongly being a mother to a son. But years prior, before I was ever a mother, I was a young teacher that definitely did not appreciate that me, having an interest in the life of a student, how that got misconstrued as me being interested in having a life with the student. So that was definitely a hard question to look at because I definitely have been the victim of being wrongly accused. But I do understand and appreciate that there is a double standard when it comes to um, female and male predators. Absolutely, and I think that both of those have no place in our community. And I think, as Brother William, Black Youth Congress, put it so eloquently, both of those need correction to address the dysfunction because there is some dysfunction there. I wholeheartedly agree. Oh, thank you, blind guy, his wife, their life. Now, how did you know I had the comments on the screen if you're blind? We don't have to talk, blind guy. No, but thank you also because you came in with a couple of very poignant questions as well. And Snuggles, I'm still looking at that. You are not going to tell me I throw you away. You know how it is when I'm back on mommy duty, but I absolutely appreciate you and always being such a supporter, and not only a supporter, but a supporter beyond the boards, BTB. Just checking again on me, asking how my meditation is going, how my prayer is going. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Snuggles. You are a friend indeed. I'm going to leave with this closing quote, in regards to. So, funny thing about this, I'm going to give a little background story. Um, for many years, I thought that the creator of this poem not only not only was black, but I also thought the creator of this poem was female. But in fact, the person is not. But I love this poem, particularly because my mother used to say this to my brother literally every night his second year in high school. His second year in high school was a very challenging one because of the fact that he was a student athlete. And as a student athlete, he had taken on, it was the first time had taken on all, he had taken on all of the sports as well as was expected to keep a certain GPA. So I'm going to, oh, your husband is blind. You're the wife. Wow. Do you know what? Thank you so much for that. Blind guy, I am so sorry. So you're the wife. So blind guy, his wife. So salute and apologies. And thank you, Bijou Noir. I totally forgot to mention her for sharing this, as well as Mark Nash for sharing this. In-person kid, Marcus Garvey, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. And welcome again. Okay, so I'm just going to finish out the day with this point. And again, keeping the chat up, the stream up just a little longer so you all can grab the handles and grab each other's information. That is absolutely, you're welcome to do that. Post each other's, remember, post each other's sites if you can, because everybody, and blind guys, sis, you're now a moderator. So you can post someone else's channel as well. So remember, you all, these are torches. They're not wrenches. Okay. So they are torches to light the path for someone else, post someone else's link, because the only way we can really build truly is by promoting and uplifting one another. Remember, all tides lift all boats. So with that being said, again, I want to thank everyone for being a part tonight of this, or today rather, of this discussion. It was needed. It was appreciated. It will not be the last. I really just valued a lot of the perspectives that I saw being shared. It was like watching a diamond shine, because you can see the light coming off from different angles. So I thank you again. So again, the funny thing about this poem, like I said, my mother would say it to my brother so often. I would actually think that I thought she wrote it. I thought it was her poem. I did not find out that it was not her poem until I was my first year in middle school, when I was asked to recite a poem on the spot for an entrance into a literary competition. And so, I know this poem my mom always does for my brother, poem. And when I got off the first couple of lines, my teacher, Miss Carolyn Parker, rest in heaven, she stopped me. She stopped me and she let me know that my mom didn't write that poem. Unless my mom was some type of plagiarist. I'm not a plagiarist. But it was a man named Kipling. Okay, mind, that was easy to get over. And so here I was in college now, and was asked to not only recite a poem, but was asked to I was asked to break down a poem by a famous African American author. And clearly I used if, because, right? I mean, my mom may not have written it, but it's a pretty solid poem, right? Well, come to find out, that wasn't even the case. It was not even written by a Black man. So Rudyard Kipling is actually identified as Indian, but then that became even an issue, that he was later to be found out not even Indian. So it may have been problematic with who exactly wrote the poem, but the poem to this day stands as one of my favorites, as a poem that I not only have recited for my that I not only have recited for many classes that I have led, but also have recited for my own son, and was told was responsible for one of my former students getting a few lines actually tattooed on his back. So I don't like to take credit for that, but an absolute great poem, and I'm sure most of you all are familiar with it already. But again, just a wonderful poem that I would encourage you all for sharing with your sons, sharing with I always was trying to change the line to make it a little about, women, but it didn't ever really transfer that way, but that's okay. That's okay. If you can keep your head when if you can walk with kings and keep your virtue, and talk with crowds nor lose the common touch,